Alright, boys and girls, we back once again. Quick video, and at the end I have a special announcement, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I got some really cool news coming up. Not quite ready yet to go full bore with it yet, but I'm just going to do a quick introduction for it. But that's at the end of the video. I just want to talk about something that was interesting to me. I'm sitting here looking at this chart, and just how much Tesla, the stock, is just such a cuck. And you got to be ready when you're trading this thing for the games that they play. The market makers obviously are playing games. Institutions are playing games. Elon Musk is playing games. The analysts that cover it are playing games. The news outlets that cover it are playing games. So just look back the last 2 weeks worth of action here, and just what I've observed with this stock is like it doesn't ever really, for the most part, do what you want it to do. So for example, I'm watching this little triangle action here, and I've seen on Twitter and just on stock twits and a lot of places that this obviously is a setup for much higher, and it is, okay. But look what they did to you. You're set up into a Thursday. So this is a Thursday. This is the week range right here. This yellow box here was last week's range. So you had a nice rangy week there. And then it breaks out on a Monday. And of course it fades like it always does. And then it tries to break again, fades. Now this pink line is last year's close. So this is what Tesla's playing around right now, is this last year close, and the top of this, if you guys can see this on the video, I'm not sure. The top of this white box or pink box here is last year's high. So you're playing in this zone here between, and then this white box last month's, so you're playing between here. So this is last month's high, and you're playing last year's high as well. You see how that kind of fits in there. So something you got to know about the patterns on Tesla is they like to rip it on a Monday for whatever reason, and especially if they rip it on a Friday, then you're going to have a huge gap up. But then what did they do this week is they gapped it up. You're thinking this is going to be a huge breakout. Now this blue box is last quarter's range. So what we're looking for is, what I was waiting for was this breakout to hold above last year's high and start getting into this open air where there's nothing going on here up until, about 786, 780 something, which eventually I think it'll get there. But what they do is they chop you all week long and give you this nice triangle into a Friday right at last year's high, and they dip it on you. I mean, that's just killer right there, man. Just the momentum just went. Nothing happened. And so I'm pretty sure billions of dollars worth of calls were killed here on this day with this, which is the idea. So what do? Is they drop it, just a killer move, into last month's high and last week's high. Okay, end of day. So I'm buying calls right here. I'm buying calls in this general vicinity because they basically, what this is it's just a game. It's a trick that I've been observing Tesla for a long time. This is just a tricky zone here. This is just what they're doing. There's no way that this is coming back lower to me, not with this kind of move, in my opinion. Now, obviously, it's possible it gaps down, but not after a huge break of a yearly. It even attempted to break the yearly high, last year's high, and then they consolidated all week. This is just sick games they're playing just because of options expiration on Friday. So instead of letting it rip, they found a way to kill it just for Friday, and then they gap it up huge the next day. So, obviously I'm buying calls down here for this week, and then I'm closing them somewhere here in the spike. I don't remember where I closed it, but I'm just waiting for that. They kill the volatility, and I'm just waiting for that volatility to look like it's dying down again, which it will with Tesla. And then what do this week is they faded all week right into that yearly close, last year close. So then you got this other setup here. It's a similar triangle, but look, it's a little bit different because, you have the triangle setting up right underneath last year's high. This time they brought it down into last year's close. So, my guess is they're playing games again. When I'm looking at this, I'm saying they're playing games again because they're going to get all the bears thinking this is going to go down because you got this triangle coming into this close. Now the bulls are thinking it's going up. Bears are going to think it's going to break lower. Same thing here. I mean, if you're going to look at this triangle as for the most part, most people are going to look at on their bias. I wait to see what they're going to do with this. But same thing, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fade everything, basically chop zone, and then they have the break. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is what they like to do on Wednesdays. They like to rip it Thursday and kill you Friday. So here you have the just this fade, this just theta kill. So premiums on calls are just coming and puts are just being just destroyed here. And then right here on Thursday, and I remember looking at this and I'm sitting here thinking, like, when they did this fake pump and fade, and they brought it right back to where they had it on Friday. They brought it right back here, just kind of a weak attempt. I knew there's zero chance this was going to break my mind. There's just no chance. There was no momentum to the downside. It was just a slow crawl. And if you watch Tesla long enough, you know just kind of the action it has. There's no reason for this to ever even be below 704, 705. So they brought it back down again, just kind of like they did here, kind of like how they did here. They just brought it back to that zone again. And then look what happened. They rip it. And they rip it real hard. So, this is how... I've been playing Tesla for a long time. You have to just be ready for these crazy games that they play. And then, okay, yeah, you think this is going to break. In my opinion, I got whacked here. And I did not take this right here because I was in some other plays. But I was looking at it going, this is a buy, this is a buy, this is a buy right here. And lo and behold, it was. And then I'm buying calls here just in case they do try to break it out. But I was definitely not big on the size here. I was not trying to get faded, and this is what they did. So I'm closing out here as soon as I see any weakness. And what do they do? Drop it back below last year's high again. So look where they closed it. Same thing on Friday. They closed it at last month's high and last week's high and the previous week's high, previous month's high. And then they close it right below. Like, what a coincidence. They close it right below last year's high. Oh, what a surprise, So what's probably going to happen, I'm guessing, if momentum continues and we see some breakouts in tech, like I think Apple's about to break out, Facebook's close to it, Google, if Roku starts to recover, I think we're going to see some really good moves in tech. But what I'm thinking is going to happen is here, they're bringing this down just to kill calls for next week, and they'll probably gap this up. You'll probably see a gap over the 726 for next week, my guess. And then next week's probably a breakout to 780. Who knows? If they continue with these games or they break this out, 750 I know is a huge spot. They might just take it to right to 750 on Monday, and then it just chop zone all week. So be prepared for that. But my guess is this was a buy for calls, and they just killed the premiums just so that we could get in for next week, which is, very, very nice of them, very kind of them. All right, anyways, that was I just had a quick thought video on just how Tesla went for the last 2 weeks, and just to be prepared for the games that they play. What's nice about this particular setup here is that you've got, you've got all these levels built into it, so it's really nice. A wise guy once told me, and this always stuck with me, is you just need one level. You just need one pivot, one high a day or whatever to make money. So don't complicate it. So if you're staring at Tesla here around this last year, a yearly level is going to be a huge turning point, inflection point. So there's obviously going to be some cuckery going on around here. So just be ready for that. But this is what this kind of layout where you've got these multiple time frame high, low, open closes built into it. Then you're going to have a better idea of the context of where this particular stock is trading. Let's just take Facebook, for example, here. So we've got the setup here. We don't see any yearly action going on. The yearly is down here, but we are still kind of messing around with this last quarter's high. So you can see this blue box kind of stops right about here. So you got last quarter's high. You see it kind of trading around this zone. So if I'm trading Facebook, I'm looking at, look what they did, the same thing they did here as they did with Tesla. They brought it right into this zone. You know, they cuck you all week long. You're trying to play these breaks here, but there's just too much. There's too much resistance here with the previous week close, which is what this is, and it's just stuck in this box here. So they bring it all the way down till the premiums are basically nothing, and then they give you the chance to get the break. And obviously, trying to catch the second day, kind of hard to do, especially with the volume that we were seeing. So got to trade them quick, got to do them for day trades, because the follow through the next days aren't really working. They worked out really well there, but same kind of thing here. I mean, these are my favorite type of plays, is looking for these. You got the reverse head and shoulder that happened here. Right off of that, this was a quarterly close and a previous monthly level. So I think that was the open and close. So you're seeing a head and shoulder develop around these levels. This is all I do for my trades, is I wait for these patterns to develop and around levels that I care about. So this is obviously a big level. This is going to be a huge level. This is a huge level. Then you see a pattern develop around there, and you just wait for the break. And you trade them quick, depending on the market or whatever. Look at this head and shoulder. You have this reverse head and shoulder. Not as pretty as this one. And you would be thinking that this might be breaking out, but you want to be real careful, just because it's the open of the next week and month. So they ended the month with some kind of cuckery here. Ended the week and month with some kind of cuck, reverse head and shoulder, and then they do another one. So you had a double inverse head and shoulder into this level. So you can be fairly confident when you see this kind of excess sell off here and recovery, that it's likely the bottom, at least a temporary one. But anyways, just a quick thing on how to trade that. All right, next is, all right, you guys got to check this guy out. Money Moves Investments. Go to his website here. He has got some really cool stuff going on. I just started looking at it all today. He gave me some access to it, so I'll be doing some reviews and some honest opinions and some comparisons with other algos. The guy is what I used to talk to, his hedge fund manager up in Alaska, Bob Gillum, and he used to call all of his analysts and research people and algo writers, he used to call them helicopter heads. And so that's when I think of this guy, Dalian, I think of a helicopter head, like what he used to say. He used to say these guys are just some freaking geniuses here. And so this guy right here, professional ball player, I had a Zoom with him the other night, last night, and the guy basically wrote all these algos. As far as I know, I think him and one other guy from Fiverr basically wrote all these different algos. And so I'll be doing some back testing. I'll be trading with it this week. I want to see how it works. I'm actually in a trade right now with it. This one right here. Actually, it's going to be, it's Ethereum Classic. So gave some buy signals here. Has been holding some support. This is one of his algos called the cheat code. So got a whole bunch of them, going through them all. I've already looked at them all. I'm just waiting to kind of get access to the videos of his training videos on them, because I want to get a little bit more insight into how he trades them, how he uses them, what he looks for. I'm just trading it on my own right now. The only reason I'm using cheat code is because it's kind of a super trend algo, and so I'm very familiar with super trend algos. I used to use super trend a lot. I don't use them anymore, because I just like this method of trading better, just using basically I named this the one level, just because I only want to look for, with each ticker, I just want to have one level that I care about for the most part. And so with Ethereum Classic, the big level for Ethereum Classic was this level, the 68. And so you can see that the pattern was kind of developing into what they call volatility contraction pattern. If you guys ever heard of Mark Minervini, this is his favorite type of play. This is like all he does. And so you got this volatility contraction pattern that was happening into that level, and then you get the breakout. So actually, with this, I use this as kind of an indicator. I actually bought here, so we'll see how that works out. I'm looking for the breakout to about 93. But we're going to see how this works out with this algo. I've already made a couple other trades with it, and they've all gone really well. It's got built-in target prices, and I don't know. I don't have them here, but let's see if they show up here if I do the 30-minute. It'll tell you basically exit buy. It'll tell you target price reached. Here's your buy. So anyways, I kind of back tested this one. I ran through a bunch of different variables, and then I've got the settings in there that kind of showed the best setup as far as your risk reward. The ATR length, I mean, I looked through pretty much everyone through 20, and 6 actually came out to be the best, which is crazy. I don't know why on the 30 minutes. So anyways, just running through a bunch of different scenarios. I got my real money in here testing this out, so we'll see how it works, and I'll report back on that. So as soon as I can get through some of those videos that he's got and test some of these algos a little bit more, we'll definitely be doing some more reviews. But go check him out. He's got trading courses. He's got a free trial for you. Please go check it out. And I'm already signed up for it. And he's got all his algos in there, so check it out. Money Moves Investments. I'm going to put this in the description for you to look at it. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.